Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas speaking with Erin Meyer, who is a local artist, and you've seen her work. She does murals, giant ones, all over buildings around the area, and these are the hands that have painted the dots that create these pictures, these beautiful pictures that we're seeing. Erin, you mentioned that you work with Scott. Remind me his last name again.
Phillips.
Scott Phillips, who is his style. Often, when you've got two creative people working together on one project, that can be challenging because you've got two minds that are very gifted. And the creative people I know, sometimes there's a bit of a give and take. How have you navigated that, the relationship of painting these giant murals together?
Well, luckily, I suppose they come to him for the commissions, and so I'm mostly just like the lead assistant on a lot of the projects, and sometimes I'm doing a lot of the painting, and it's pre-designed. However, he has had to rely on me for the most recent painting. I'm skilled at being realistic, and I'm skilled at doing realistic and abstract work. So the most recent mural I did the entire background with all the blending and everything. So he had to rely on me to make that. Just look at the little image because that was something that we couldn't map out on the printer. It was just the dots, and so I had to do the whole background by that.
So I really want to understand. You're looking at a small image of what this is supposed to look like when it's all big. Is it drawn first at all on the building?
Well,
or are you just diving right in?
I just dived right in.
Wow.
He has pictures of me with like two paintbrushes, but that's how I work with
Young
my
lady, you have quite a gift. You really have a gift. That's amazing. And like you say, you're good at the realism, and you're also good at the just more abstract. Do you have a favorite? Or it depends on your mood?
Yeah, it depends on my mood. I like the abstract. It's more abstract representational. I'll have figures, and it'll be something very specific. And it'll be kind of hidden in my process, and I won't usually talk about it. And because I think it's something that the viewer's going to see what they want to see. They're either going to see just an abstract paint, or they will see what is in the actual image. And I found that very interesting when I was in college. The people that painted more abstract only saw the abstract, and the people that were figurative, realistic, they did see the representational.
Wow.
Figuring it, and my professors would be like, Erin, show them your preliminary stuff, and I'd be like, no, that's something they have to ask for. I can't just show them. And then
that's interesting.
Then the abstract will be like, whoa, I see it now. Like trying to explain everything.
It's fun to look at those, sometimes those abstract images, and two people look at and see two completely different things. And it depends what you're focusing on, what area you're focusing on, what you see. Sometimes it's the little old lady, sometimes it's the young woman. You know what I mean? Those pictures that.
And with the abstract, when it's real, it's like you know what it's going to look like at the end. And I sometimes feel myself getting sluggish, like it's almost too easy. Like I know what the end product's going to be. It's going to look like a picture.
Not for all of us.
But
we can't all say that.
With the abstract, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like it's almost just like improvising and dancing and going back and forth. And I guess that's talking about my personal work, but then compared to like the mural, it's like you're up close painting all these little dots, and I have to get off this like 4-story scaffolding or go down off this scissor lift and stand like far, like way back to see, is there value in these little dots that I'm painting?
Is this right?
Did I do this? Did I just do this right? That I spend like hours like painting? And
do you ever climb down and it's not, and you have to go back and fix something?
Well, I think that was the first with just painting the background and doing all the value, because I was going from this little image, and then this mural, I think was like 19 by 30 feet or so on Cleveland.
Amazing.
It's something like, or 29 feet.
How much time are we talking about goes into something like this, finished product?
With Scott, when he lays it out in Photoshop on a computer for everything, and I believe he said that there were like 500 hours put into this last one, and 200 of those hours was me. It's just me.
200 hours of being, first of all, you can't be afraid of heights because you're way up there, right?
Yeah.
And painting. Amazing.
Yeah. Especially you have to, not, like, I mean, they have to be very precise dots. So, yeah, I mean, to me, like, when we had the interns, I'm like, you just have to get in the zone. Like, don't even think about, like, looking down. You just got to, like, look forward and just focus, just make sure.
What tools do you use to make these dots? Are we talking about a regular paintbrush or a paintbrush?
Yeah, just paintbrushes, little baby paintbrushes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. You've been awarded multiple times for this work. Let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit. What awards have recognized your abilities?
Well, for the murals, the mayors of Canton and Massillon both came out, and there was a little get together for that. The band came, and cheerleaders came, or dance team. I think both of them came. I'm not.
That was for the Massillon McKinley
that
mural?
was for Massillon McKinley mural.
Very cool.
There have been like dedications when the murals have been up, but I think for some of them I might have been I think I was in college for the Tommy Henrik one. But then for my own personal work, I've shown it in like the Stark County Artist Exhibition, and I've had honorable mentions. And there was also there was a year where I got Best in Show, and then the next year I also got Best in Show, and that was the first time that someone's ever got Best in Show twice, and I got it 2 years in a row.
That's amazing. And what was that for?
These were for two different paintings. They're not half-tone related, but it was interesting because the one year it was for a realistic piece, and then the next year was for one of my abstract, like, giant paintings.
Wow. So two completely different kinds of projects.
Different styles. Yeah, two completely different types.
Probably two different sets of judges. It's just remarkable to think, because what Best in Show means for people who've never entered something like this. You have all kinds of awards and blue ribbons.
And some people get so torn up about when, like, shows are awesome, Wayne Awards are awesome, but it's great. It's just crazy how people get so torn up, because if you think about the piece that got Best in Show the second year, I actually submitted it the same year, the year before, and it didn't even get in.
Oh, isn't that
And so I resubmitted it, and it got Best in Show with those judges. So if you think, so some people are like, oh, it's a bad piece, because it's like, no, it's totally, like, that's why, like we were talking earlier before everything, it's like, like making things for yourself, and maybe for your own sanity, or just like, it's like making it personal, because sometimes I think the best work comes from not necessarily making it for anybody, or making it for teachers, or for compliments, or for, it's just like for yourself. And
so you weren't making these even to win awards, but how interesting, because that's how subjective artwork can be. If one year a piece doesn't even get selected, and the very next year, new set of eyes on it, and it's Best in Show. That's remarkable. What a story.
Yeah, so, I mean, that, like, in high school, there was a situation where they make a big deal about Governor's Show and getting things in for governors, and I was, like, one of the, the better ones, like, in our year, like, in our class, and I didn't get anything at the Governor's Show, but then I have this, but then there just happened to be an opening earlier in the year for Scholastics Art and Writing, and we're like, oh, the teacher's like, oh, we have an empty space. Do you have anything, Erin, like, in your old stuff? And I'm like, oh, well, I just have this, like, watercolor from, like, late last year. And she's like, yeah, let's throw it in. Like, it's opening, it's whatever. And it went from the regional of Scholastics, and then it went to nationals for Scholastics. We got a gold medal in New York, and it was shown in New York and framed. And
wow.
I got a gold medal at Carnegie Hall with my art teacher that year. And it's like, it was just a piece, like,
an afterthought.
Yeah, it was an afterthought. and so it's like,
wow.
And then, like, nobody else, like, they hadn't had somebody, like, hit at nationals in a few years.
Wow.
And then, or at least get, like, something like that. And,
well, congratulations. I mean, that's just amazing.
It feels like, that was probably, like, 10 years ago, maybe.
Yes. What are you working on now?
Well, right now I'm working on getting my studio back in shape, and I have some wedding presents that a wedding present that I'm currently finishing up that I'm late on. But
Oh, your friends are very lucky people. They're getting these kinds of things for their wedding gifts. Wow.
I guess, though. I mean, it's funny because I'm like, hey, guys, I'm broke, but I'll make you something. They're like, yeah, make us anything you want. Well, then I'm like, oh, okay.
But way better than a purchase.
To me, it's just
gift.
Not like a...
Oh, trust me, that's way better. Way better. What about the future? Erin, what would you love to see yourself doing 5 years down the road?
Well, hopefully I wouldn't need to rely on a stable job for benefits and healthcare and whatnot. I'd love to just be able to freelance. But I guess that would also require people coming to me for freelance work. Or I guess that would almost be the necessary thing. Like, I'd have to have enough freelance work coming to me that I'd have to, like, turn some down because I'd be able to manage that. I would love to do that, but that seems...
I certainly hope that happens. I really hope that happens for you. Do you have any murals in the works that you're allowed to talk about?
I don't think... No, not that I'm allowed to talk about.
Okay, we won't. All right, we'll all just keep our eyes peeled.
Yes.
Okay, around town. And remind us again, people, I think it would be fun to hop in the car and take a little personal tour of your work. Remind us what all buildings we can see some of these amazing pieces of art.
Tommy Henrik is 19 by 63 feet. It's a baseball player. It's on Elam's, I think.
Elam's Music?
It's on Elam's Music, and the street, I think, is called, like, Elam's, Tommy Henrik Boulevard, I believe.
That sounds right.
You can see it when you're driving on 21. And then there is Joe Walsh on the Water Street Tavern in Kent. So if you're in Kent on Water Street, I think it's pretty close to campus, actually.
It is. He went there.
Yeah.
He
so it says,
and
Welcome
also,
to Kent.
yes.
Playing guitar. It's in an alleyway, kind of. And then there is Paul Brown. He is inside Massillon Washington High School, so if you ever go there for a football game. And now there is our rivalry, Massillon versus Canton mural on Cleveland Avenue, right?
Yes, Cleveland Avenue.
Cleveland Ave.
Right at the beginning of the parade route.
Right in the beginning of the parade route. So hopefully next year it'll be, they might show it on, when the parade's going down. Maybe that'll get a little attention.
Let's hope that gets some national attention.
Yeah.
Some national airtime would be great. Well, thank you. It's just delightful getting a chance to talk with you. We wish you all the very best. Going to hop in a car and take a little art tour of our own. And Erin Meyer, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Thank you for having me.